Welcome back to Timberborn and the Emberpelts, and we're about to jump into a time lapse that might be quite long, but before we do, I just wanted to show you what I've been up to set this up. So all of the water wheels are in, all of the cross connections should be in, and what I've done on each level is I have put a connection that runs the length of the level on the penultimate one. So in theory then we can just come out of, say, here and connect up all of the layers, and then all of the wheels will be connected. I've not done that on the top one because we're going to make use of the paths on the top to build all the layers below. I've deleted the control towers and put them in on platforms so that they can get under them, so they've got paths that go all the way across. It's gonna be quite tricky to show this in a time lapse. I think I'll try and do it somehow. We'll have to kind of jack up the level as we go, because they should build this from the bottom up. If it doesn't work, I'll just show you the end result, but I want to crack on, get this done so that we can make some progress, because there's only a couple of weeks left of experimental branch update 7, and I want to finish this series before update 7 hits. So let's get into the time lapse.
Trying to find a trace and calling, shouting out your name, calling. Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is? I'm helpless, and the walls are caving in. Can't breathe now, losing my sanity. I'm calling, shouting out your name. I'm calling. Is this really what I think it is? Am I really the one you need? Desperate times running around, chasing each other down. Is this really what I think it is? Your silhouette out of the corner of my eye, out of the corner of...
Okay, so that's the time lapse done, and the drought has ended. Got most of the wheels built. You will have seen as we went through, I was occasionally checking our wood supply. We've just about hung on, which is pretty good. I made one small change before we went into the time lapse that I didn't show you, because we were a little bit short of bots, and that is I re-enabled the 2 bot assemblers that I had paused, and I switched over so that we currently have 4 bot part factories doing limbs, and only one each doing heads and chassis. And it skewed the resources a little bit. I'm actually going to switch them back now so that we've got two doing each. But we do have a bit of a bot shortage, so I'm thinking that we might want to try and squeeze in one more assembler as we keep playing. We could do with a few more trees, and I might just try and expand this to make full use of what we have available, and maybe just get rid of these builders huts, or move them because they don't necessarily need to be there, whilst they continue working on this. I've probably time-lapsed that footage quite quickly because you couldn't actually see what the bots were doing, because the bots have obviously been building everything from up here. They still have quite a lot of building to do, but I thought it was about time we actually got to playing as the water slowly returns, and did something. So that's what we're going to do. I'm kind of interested to see how this behaves now we've got it in. Obviously, this is going to do its thing, and this will then get to do its thing. So this should be quite cool. I'm looking forward to seeing this work. And in turn, these work. So that should be good. These should be nicely charged up, which they are. So yeah, that should all do its thing. And yeah, we've made some pretty solid progress. So I'm hoping that we can get a bunch more of this done as they get it built out. But yeah, I want to actually play the game a little bit. So we're going to, as I said, delete these. We need to expand the hydration, and with how the width of the hydration works, I think we might be okay to just put in a... It's going to be in the way because we probably want to put it here. I think what we'll do is we'll delete this, and I might move this. It might make sense to flip this over to here. And it's currently basically empty anyway. So if we were to flip this over to here, and what I love is because this is the Emberpelts, it wasn't hit by the reduction in storage capacity. I'm playing this on, what day is it today? Wednesday. And they've just released the update to experimental, which has the changes to all the power stuff, and that looks awesome. I've not had a chance to have a play with it yet, but it looks very cool. So we're going to prioritize all of this to very high so we can get it done, and going on, because that seems like a good idea to me, because then we can plant trees all around here. We can delete this for a little bit of path here. Yeah, we could probably be more sensible, and we did that. We could then delete that and that. We could plant a few more oak trees like that and that, and yep, they are more cutting. And once this is hydrated, hoping we can plant an awful lot more oak trees. So realistically, this was probably a really bad idea to put this here. What we should probably do is delete it again. I know, yep, you can be frustrated with me. That is absolutely fine. We're going to put it down here. I know, wasteful. We're going to do that. Then what we can do is come in here, put that there, we can put that there. These cover actually a reasonable way down, so I think we could probably get away with a single extra forester. We're going to get a fluid dump on there. We're going to get a stream gauge in there. We're going to get all of that height prioritized. We're going to fill in that hole like that. They can get that built. They can do that. That will be really good. Actually, our shortage of bots is reducing. I guess that's because I deleted a whole load of builders' huts. So it hasn't really reduced. We've just reduced the demand, which we're going to be increasing in a moment because we probably need to put in more lumberjacks if we're going to put in more trees. 4 might be enough. I'm going to remove that as well. And we'll just have to rebuild all of those. So, yeah. Not sure where we're going to rebuild them all, but we will rebuild them. We could put some more trees in there if we dynamited that out. But, you know, let's focus on what we're focusing on first. We want to make sure that's prioritized. We want to attach it to a stream gauge. We want to pause above. Let's go to about there. We want to unpause if it's below about there. Yeah. We can delete this piece of path now. Yes, please. Yes, please. And if that would fill up, that would be rather lovely. And I'm banking on the fact that probably most of this we're going to be able to plant with oak trees like that. Yeah, if you dump a ton more water in there, that would be rather nice. Come on. Come on. Get after it. I don't know if I need to put those in the other way around. And I don't know if it was actually because rather than using the prioritization tool, I just prioritized the building. And that was why they couldn't build that. And that needs to be logs set to supply. And as that fills up slowly, that should be much better. We have a water tank there, so that should be okay. That's just a whole load of resources that we should just blast picking those up, and then they should build that. We could expand this terrain, but I'm hoping this bit of extra forest is going to be enough. This is still nice and clean because so far this hasn't made it to a spot it can exit. Did have the suggestion that we get across and dam these up. And we just haven't got there yet. So it's a good idea. I like the idea, but I haven't got to it yet. Focusing on getting the Tesseract done first. It's a good side project, and we will get there, but we just haven't yet. So, but we will get there. And this is actually nice and full, so I'm kind of liking that. These should be running. We don't. Yeah, there we go. They are running. Okay, cool. Unpause above. I'm not sure why they weren't running, but they are now. Good stuff. This is nicely hydrated. So, yep, they should plant all of that up. So I think what we want to do now is look at rebuilding those missing builders' huts, of which there were quite a few, weren't there? Who was counting? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? So what we're going to do is rotate that, not like that. What we're going to do is put in dirt there. We're going to rotate that like that. And we can have a path through there. We can high prioritize that, that. Put the dirt there. We can high prioritize that. We can then put back 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's bring that up as well. 5. Let's put 6 builders hut back. That's what, another 24 builders. You needed to be born. There we go. I think there's probably loads of corn on the floor there then. So that's good. If we go in here, these are now running pretty well. Yep. So that's doing its thing. Those are recharging off of this. Or we've even thought about getting the Tesseract online. That is filling in nicely, which is great. We will need to babysit this a little bit shortly. But we're going to jump over here. This is all... Ooh, that's not behaving as one would like. So that's fuller than I would like. 9. Which bit that's too full? That. So let's open that up a bit. There we go. That's that sorted. Nice, easy fix. So if we go here, apple juice is a bit low. Apples is not. So let's put a bot in there, shall we? Because you should just be working hard, fella. Prioritize you by haulers. Let's in fact get a storage over here for apples. See if we can improve that a little bit. Yep. What else else is low. We don't have any storage for apple pies. Right. So does this district 3, guessing the apple pies are all being made over in District 1. And District 1 doesn't seem to have any storage for apple pies. Let's resolve that, shall we? With a large storage for apple pies. We might as well go all the way across. You will be apple pie. And then I have the thing from Dusk Till Dawn stuck in my head, which I'm not going to say because it's incredibly inappropriate to say in a YouTube video that has an audience which is not necessarily all mature viewers or any of you mature viewers, because, you know, yep. And then what we're going to do is come in here, and you are canola oil. We're going to make an awful mess, but thankfully they box it up as we destroy it. We're going to put a large warehouse there. A large warehouse there. We're going to put double platforms all the way across. We're going to put the large tank back on the top. That's going to be for the canola oil, and then you can be for apple pie, and I'm not sure what the other one's going to be for, but hopefully they'll get those built nice and quick, and that'll sort that out. Yep, that might resolve that. We have, and we'll put in some more storage for berries. Not that we need to have lots of berries. We don't have storage. Actually, do we put storage for stuffed peppers? Let's make that for stuffed peppers. If we come over here, we don't have storage for stuffed peppers, so you can be for stuffed peppers. We need to put the path in. There we go. And that should get these fired up and making more of them, which will be good. That should improve some of the food situation. The apple juice is still very low. So let's go in this district. This district does not appear to be pressing apple juice. Now we could embrace. Remember, we're update 6 here, not update 7, so we can't overhang the terrain, but we can do that. Then we can bring power across there. And no, we can do that. And we can make that apple juice. We can put a storage there for apples. Let's do obtain. And we could have a little tank there for apple reduce, set to supply, and that will help that out. But we need to put some paths in there, and that's that sorted, and then hopefully they'll pick up all of the canola oil that I threw on the floor. Awesome. So that should help with some of that stuff. Have a quick look at well-being, because some well-being stuff we could pick up quite easily. He says, and then completely forgets the one that we had 0 of. The Wonder of Fire we are going to do at some point, but clocks. We don't appear to have any clocks. So how the heck are the beavers going to know what time they need to go to work? We should put a clock in front of the dance hall so they know when they need to get their butts out of there. We'll come over here. And oh, we've got a clock there. So I guess this district has clockage, but not complete clockage. So if I put a clock there, they can build that, so we can get good clockage going on. Suggests not everyone's going to the dance hall in this district. We could do with just a bunch more stuffs, really, couldn't we? We've got power over here, so I feel like we could. Oh, if only we had tunnels. What I'm thinking is, yeah, because that's not ground only. The carousel is, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long. So we've got, what I'm thinking, bear with me folks, is we get our overhangs, and we might need to get rid of the clock we've just put in. No. Maybe. No. So if we dynamite out that, you don't need a dynamite factory, you need a piece of dynamite. And then if we put well-being carousel there, we need to bring power out. We could bring power out on the level below, like that. And by popping that to be a T-junction. One of the things that I'm hoping with the new power system is that you don't have to delete connections like this. You can just tack things on and it'll all change and things. That'll be awesome. Let's speed things up a little bit. This should get built fairly quickly, I think. Right, we'll come back to that in a moment. This is looking a lot better with some of the bad water going off the side. So we can see our contamination down here now is only 5%. So in here, we're only 5% contaminated. So I'm not sure why. Because I've got, someone did point this out. We want to not have that. And then, yeah, this will now pump out the contamination. So this is letting in slightly contaminated water. It's letting in 6% contaminated water. And this is taking out just bad water. So if we look here, it's gone it's nighttime, but this is just bad water it's taking out. So this should become less contaminated. Oh, awesome. And we are in a good position here. So what we want to start doing is we're going to come here. We're going to delete some of this path. And some of this. And we might need to babysit this a bit, but so this might be a job for that needs to go because we need to put a power connection in there. We can delete some of this. We can put that in there. Yep. So we should see this drop in theory. Although I guess the contamination coming down here might be going up. So plus we're pumping out clean water here. So it's kind of a push-pull thing. We could put more of these in if it's not keeping up. We'll keep an eye on it, particularly once we've got essentially unlimited power. Once we've got the power coming from the Tesseract, we could put a lot more of the mechanical pumps in and just use those to rip bad water out at quite a rate, I think. So well-being, carousel, there, yeah, there, yes, pause you, power, upward power shaft, there. So that'll be in District 3. Because it's kind of quite nice and close to District 3. Well-being. We'll throw in a few more of those. And that's done. So we can put that there now. If I go to District 3, no, I would click on the wrong tab and look in their well-being. They could do with just a general sweep of things. They could do with scratches as well. So let's come in here. Scratches. We could put those just kind of scattered about, I guess. Although we're running out of space to just scatter things about at this point. But that should give them a little bit of a boost. I'm wondering, is there a non-janky way? I know, don't die of shock. Me doing something not completely janky is a bit of a shocker. He says as he then proceeds to be somewhat janky. Actually, this might end up being slightly janky. Rooftop terraces are too wide, aren't they? Well-being. Rooftop territe. 1, 2. I don't know if this will get over the top of that tank or not. Does, yes, there's a bit of a gap there, but I think that's fine. Rooftop territe, just to take advantage of that fact that there's a raised bit there, and in fact we could do the same going that way. And there, well-being, rooftop terraces aren't the biggest well-being boost, but But hey, I mean, look at these ones. You've got that lovely, just sat in the fumes of making lubricant. What more could you want? Now, the other thing that I want to do, yes, I know I've got the game paused. If it annoys you, well, is, and I'm not sure where it is. Phoenix Distillery. So that needs apples, coal. We've got one of these. It's going to be easier for me to look at in the building. Apples, so bell peppers, charcoal, and fuel. Right. This district has a lot of bell peppers. It has fuel. It has charcoal. Do I just give them a big old Phoenix extract tank? Maybe that's the way to do it. The Wonder, because I've been watching JC play, uses Phoenix extract. So what I'm thinking is if we throw a tank on the roof there for Phoenix extract, we can start to stockpile that. We will put bot in there so that once they've got space for it, they are making a lot more of it. Right. I've not resolved my bot problem yet. In fact, I've made it worse. Well done, me. So that's good. I did that, which was quite dumb. If you commented, well done. But that has helped with my bot problem. So I think what we need to do now is concentrate a little bit on this. So we can now, I think, delete all of this path and that. I think we can do the same here. So, come on. I just want the path. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We might have needed that because we've got some stuff to build down here still. So let's put back. Guy. And then let's just try and concentrate on finishing up a, you know, I guess a row, a couple of rows of these. It's probably more efficient to be doing multiples. So we need to come in here. And if I just kind of work my way across, then by the time I've got my way across, probably I'll be able to go back, I guess. So we can do that. We can come in here. We can put both of those in. So we want to come up here. We want to delete you and all of this path. Checking that we're not reclaiming any resources, because that means we are just getting the path. Yeah. We will delete that one and path. And that one. Path, because that means we can come in here. We can get the power wheels. We can put those in and those in. We can come all the way up here. We can put that in. I need to put that in, which I think I literally just deleted. We can put that power connection in. That is too far from a district. Okay. What did I do? I did a dumb. Okay. Let's put that there. And let's hook that up to there. And let's prioritize that. So there's a good chance I need to be careful there. I am disconnecting things that I need connected. Ah, I can do that. Okay, that's okay. So I need to put that back and connect that up. I don't necessarily need that one. Yep. It's actually really hard to look at that. The color contrast is really, I'm finding is really tough on my eyes. But, you know, maybe not for you. I don't know. Let's have a look at this guy. So, yeah, the concentration is actually going up, which is interesting. Maybe we have one of these. These kick in at quite high levels. Let's have one of these. This one will kick in soon and help a bit, although we don't have a lot of space for bad water. So, but yeah, this guy is not keeping up. Partly, I guess, because of the power issue. So, if only there was a way we could generate more power. Right. I'm thinking that the way to do this actually is to keep them busy. We throw all of these in because of that issue with the connection across. We then put these in but prioritize them. And then the same thing, we come in here, we put all of these in, and we just got to work our way from left to right, away from the end. And again, do the same thing. No, don't delete the levee, just delete the path. And then I can come here, I can delete a chunk of path. We can put that there. We can prioritize it. Let's make sure that one gets prioritized, because I think otherwise I'm going to get myself in a bit of a mess. Again, I can probably come in here and do something similar. No. And it might be that what I need to do is, because it is kind of a, well, there are a couple of ways that I could tackle connecting the power up. There's the way I'm doing it now, which is kind of slow, kind of clunky, but gets it done somewhat sooner. He says in a really weird squeaky voice. Or I could put the next layer over the top and I could do what we've done on all of the others. But I think that will take a really long time. So, and I want to get this thing spinning. So we're going to do it this way. And what I might end up doing is having to connect the rest of these up off camera. Did I I did not. I did not set our new trees to be cut, which I should have. It's not a huge amount of trees, but it is a nice amount. So these are still open because it's only 6% contaminated water going past. And inside it's 8%, which is not awful. And then in here, we're at 0%, which is great. And then this is obviously much better. And this is sort of working, actually. This is sort of working. Maybe. It's probably not doing what I want it to do, but... I've got to say, having some of the contamination going off, and I think these are the stronger water sources, is helping. It's not as bad. It's not as bad. Concentrate. Concentrate. Stay on target. So you can also be connected. There we go. So let's... They are prioritized. They're done as much as they can be done. So let's do the next batch. No, not like that. That was such a problem. And when I was putting the bulk of them in, and you could see as, hopefully you could see from the time lapse. I haven't edited it yet, so I can't really tell. But I'm hoping that you could see the way that I put in the bulk placement of the wheels, in that I was kind of doing it in batches, because it was not fun. I don't know how many wheels it was that I placed, but it was a lot. It was a lot, and it was not fun. But building these projects is kind of fun. I've not watched all of the video, but I saw that ZX done something big and crazy, and as he does, I mean, that looks kind of cool. Yeah, they're all in, so we need to delete that, and then we need to delete that, and we need to delete that. It always does come down with these things to the bits you can't do in bulk. And it doesn't matter whether you've got hundreds of builders or not, it still takes time. Quote JC, just takes time. And it's one of those things that when you're just playing and not making content, I think it's quite easy to sit and do this kind of thing. Because you're not conscious of the time it takes. You know, you might just be sitting watching TV or whatever, and you just click away, and you're not having to try and provide any kind of voiceover to the fact that you're doing that. Yeah. So, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Still a lot of them to do, but I mean, that might mean that it's not a bad time to think about this job, this idea, path, which is to kind of come under here. Can we grab a bridge? Oh, so close, but it's just not quite right. Or we could grab a longer bridge, maybe. could we grab an even longer bridge? Oh, mate, so close. Can I bridge from under a platform? No. No, you can't. But what we can do is that. That gets us to there, which gets us round to here, which gets us to there, which lets us do. And I'm going to use dams. The reason I'm going to use dams is I'm concerned as to whether this can cope with all of the outflow, and at least that way, if it can't, it can overflow somewhere. So, yeah. But that just keeps those guys busy on something, a bit of a tertiary project, I guess. There we go. Again, I know, deprioritize the other thing, but actually, because I'm putting in so many different projects for them to work on, that kind of wouldn't work. That could probably stay there, actually, except it really risks them getting stuck. So, yeah. Because I'm putting in banks of water wheels to be built, and the interconnect. I don't want the water wheels to not be done, or to be done before they put in the interconnects, which is why I'm prioritizing the interconnects. And we need to put in that. And I guess we could also put in that. And we could come and we could delete some of that. And we could start putting those in. And then we could come down here. There we go. Power. I always feel like Clarkson. All right. You come up here. So I'm going to delete this from this direction because I want to get that bit of path. There we go. Come on, save. Thank you, save. And then we come up here. And obviously, the more we get done, the more we can do. I know. That's some sort of philosophy, isn't it? It's like Nvidia. The more you spend, the more you save. If you're not a tech geek, you might not get that reference. Right. Oh, wow. Go Beavers. That's probably some sort of sports reference. Go Sports. Right, let's get rid of you. Let's get rid of all of you. And all of you. And then we'll go back and do the next set of connections. So you get them prioritized. Up here. Do some deleting of paths while we've got the delete tool selected. You and you. There we go. There we go. And then come up here. apart, and then we can do another 2. Those prioritized, and then we can do another set of power wheels, compact towards wheels. Come on, there we go. Drought has started. 103 days. Wow. How will we survive? I'm curious, actually, how this ended up. So that ended up 7% contaminated. But how will we cope with a 103-day drought? Oh my gosh, I do not know. If in 103 days of gameplay I'm regretting that statement, please remind me. But predominantly we should be fine, because it's the Emberpelts and they have juices to drink. So yeah. Right. This seems kind of irrelevant now, doesn't it? Given that it's going to be 100 odd days before we see bad water again. Or any kind of water, but we might as well finish it. Right, let's come in here. Let's delete those and get these bits done. And I think we'll get a few rows of this done and then we'll call it a day, because there is so much more of this to do. We've been going quite a while. And I'm not necessarily trying to drag this out, but I think we'll save spinning her up for the next video. But we will get more built. So delete. Just because actually getting this done is going to take me a while. We've still got to then connect it to things. So I will spin it up unconnected, just so that we can see what the power generation is. I tend to like doing that for that reason. I really miss Battery Smooth's clutch mod, because I think he stopped supporting that for one of the recent updates. But that was quite nice. It was, I quite enjoyed being able to isolate bits of the power grid. I don't know if it wasn't a particularly popular mod, but I enjoyed it. I only used it occasionally, but when I wanted to be able to have that functionality, it was nice. Right, so that's all done. So that can now go. I mean, it could stay because it's not really impacting anything, but that needs to go so that we can put a wheel there and then connect that in. And then we need to come here and come under here and connect those together. Right, that's done. Being worked on. So here. into there. Power there. Awesome. That's getting done. We probably... I was going to say we need to put path over it, but that's done. So in... Oh no, there's one there. Okay. I don't think actually the water makes it out of that one. Because I think that's higher. But it might, I guess, because it's raised up. So let's go over there anyway. I know it's a messy path. It's very, very temporary. That can be a levee. It could be dirt, but you know. Right. That went in. I'm just going to finish connecting up this bank. And I think we'll call it a day. And in the background, I will connect. I will do the rest of the interconnect. Just because it's not the most enthralling content, I don't think. And it would be really nice if in the next video we can just hook up the layers and get a turn in. So right, we can delete that now. We can delete those. We can delete that. We can delete that bit of path. We can put that in. We can delete that. And we can put that in. And once those are done, I am going to call it a day, folks. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you are looking forward to seeing this monstrosity spin. Just a reminder, it's only 3/5 of what we plan to build. What I will probably do is once it is actually up and running, put the rest of it in, and we'll just leave the construction going in the background while we focus on other bits of the colony, like the wonder, things like that, like linking in the other sources that we want to use, all that kind of stuff. So we'll stop focusing on this, and we'll focus on some other things, but we'll just let them build this in the background. But yeah, you can see this is still pulling out the bad water, even running at half power, which is kind of cool. So this will eventually be just clean water. Obviously these are pumping out clean water, so but once it gets clean enough, it will let water into here, because this only accepts low contamination water. Yeah, I think we've made good progress today. We've got the carousel going up here. We've made some progress on some of our food things. We are preparing for the wonder. We will worry about its construction needs and any shortages for that in the future once we've got this done. We can then probably significantly scale up a bunch of infrastructure. Yeah, but that's it for today. I will see you all next time, folks. Bye.